Afternoon everyone, in from DIY Home and Gardening, 28th of November, and as you can see by how I'm dressed and by the fact that there's a bit of smoke showing when I breathe, that it's gone a lot colder. So how do we look after, or how do I look after and overwinter my tender perennials, tender shrubs such as the Aloysia behind me? Well, if I turn the camera around, we can go and have a look. So this is Aloysia, or lemon verbena. Hopefully some of you might have seen it in previous videos where I've demonstrated cuttings over the years. Might have been a couple of years ago. So this plant I've overwintered for about 3 years now, I think. You know, you can see how much it grows. If it was actually left to grow bigger, it'd be significantly bigger, but what I tend to do is chop bits off for the guinea pig to eat. So that said, 3-year-old plant, looking pretty good, flowers quite nicely, but main thing is for the foliage, which not that you can smell it, but has this amazing lemon fragrance to it, hence the common name of lemon verbena, as the flower looks a little bit verbena like. It is in the verbena family, so the Labiatae family, and you can tell that by the fact that it has square stems. So there's not actually a lot of plants that have square stems, but they all have the same requirements really. And when I tell you that, say, verbena is in that group, lavender is in that group, all the nettles are in that group, you can start seeing the similarities and realizing that they want similar conditions. So this particular one, so Aloysia, is not hardy, not in the UK anyway, and whilst we've had a couple of hard frosts, we had a -2 the other night, much more, and this will die. So how do I overwinter it? Well, simple solution, I grow it in a container, move it into the greenhouse, but obviously it's quite big for just sticking in the greenhouse, so we're going to have to tackle some of that and also do a little bit of preparation work. Right, that's better. So we're in the greenhouse. Aloysia, getting amazing fragrance from it. Quite simple. Secateurs, nice, clean, sharp. And first stage really that I do is look at reducing the overall size of the plant. So have a think about how best you want it so that it's going to store within here. And so what I tend to do, reduce the height down by at least about 1/3, sometimes about half. So we'll just work our way through that, and whilst I'm doing it, just kind of, let me get my kneeling pen, whilst I'm doing it, just kind of using the opportunity to level it up a little bit, reshape it so it's a bit more ball-like, because actually for next season it'll grow and look nice and natural. So we're just coming through, taking a fair chunk off, like so. Anything like that that's hanging right over, again, prune it back and you'll be losing some of this wayward floppy growth, which is then going to allow it to strengthen up for next year. So I'm just taking those off, like so, and like so. And then where you've got sort of this outward facing growth, again, you can't prune it up to be that height because it's naturally hanging down. So what I'll do, let me just change the angle a little bit. Here we are. So working my way around, what I do is then look to prune this back so it's getting closer to the edge of the pot. If you've got anything that is very spindly like that, well, good opportunity to remove that. So we would just want to be left really with the nice strong stems, and again, a bit like where you'd do your other types of pruning, if you've got crossing stems coming right through the middle, we'll remove those out. And so just look to be a little bit ruthless, with one eye on the fact that you want to make things nice and simple for yourself, and obviously have a nice plant moving forward for next season. So just cut that back a little bit more. So again, removing some of this spindly growth, that's going to amount to absolutely nothing. You'll probably find that these spindly bits will die off over winter anyway. So we'll just work our way through, chop off these sort of small bits that aren't amounting to much, and save any crossing pieces, get a shot of those. And you can see that so far I've not removed any leaves, and that is really because it's quite time consuming to take all the foliage off. So what's the point of starting with the time consuming bit first when you can do the main prunings, which are going to be far more significant. So again, just removing more of the spindly stuff. So basically all your side branching is what I'm terming to be the spindly growth, because we don't want that. And unless it's sort of, well, I say, always use the term lightly, but pencil thickness ish is the thickness of growth that we're retaining, or stems we're retaining. You can see that's looking better already. Pull out, say, the wayward bits. And there's actually, you can see there's a lot of stuff that's come off this. And this is just going to give the plant the improved vigour, ready for moving forward for next season. And what you're also doing by removing all of this unwanted stuff, you're not leaving nice places for pests to live in. Again, there's nothing worse than doing all this hard work to then find that the plants succumb over winter to pest and disease issues. So yeah, again, make sure it's nice and clean as you're doing these things. Okay, so last snip, and that's pretty much what we're left with. Now you can now see that actually, by virtue of cleaning it up, cutting back all these stems, there's hardly any leaves left to worry about. But the few that remain we strip off, because we don't want to leave nice habitats for any pests to overwinter, predominantly things like whitefly. And then any leaf matter or whatever that's sitting in the pot, we're removing that. So just keeping it as clean as possible. And as you clean up, if you notice anything untoward, you can obviously react to that. So if you happen to find under some of this leaf matter broken stem, or you know, that's the sort of thing that wants to come out, or mold or whatever, or indeed if you see some slugs, then that's also something to take off, because we don't want those in here. Yeah. Right, so that's looking a hell of a lot better. Let's get these last couple of wayward leaves. Okay, so that's your plant pretty much cleaned up. Happy with that. Do your final check. So lift your pot up, just have an inspection into the drainage holes on the underside, just to see again if you've got any of the small slugs harbouring in there, or things like vine weevil. You know, you won't see the grubs, but you'll see the adult beetles. So again, with that, run your fingers around the rim, and a vine weevil beetle is about that size, has a hardened back to it, and it tends to cling on to the underside of the pots. Not a problem this time of year. In the spring, the adults will then, you know, do their thing, they munch on leaves, but what they do is they then lay their eggs into the nice loose soil of a pot, and you will then get the grubs, which is creamy white grub with a brown head to it, and those grubs, well, they literally just decimate the plant roots, and that's what we're trying to make sure we don't have. So pest and disease, real problem over, you know, for overwintered stock. So with that done, that is pretty much done. What I also use, let me just grab it from here. Oh, drop my matches. So once I've finished doing all the cleanup of the other tender stuff, so I've still got the dailies to work through. Once I've done my cleanup, I then use this sort of product, which is a smoke, and literally set off that, which is say, fills the whole glass house with smoke, and you set it off, shut the door, leave it overnight, open the door to vent it, and that will kill off any creepy crawlies, bugs that might be harbouring with any leaf matter, you know, things like this Solanum quintoiensis, where you can't take off all those leaves, but you can get insects living on those. So use a smoke, that help get rid of that, and then about a fortnight after, do another one, and that way, you know, one, it's going to get rid of any pests that you've got overwintering or potentially overwintering on your plants, but it will also kill off any pests that you might have missed in your greenhouse clean as well. So that's my top tip. You know, obviously clean your greenhouses, get them all set up, clean up your plants as best you can, then extra precaution, use your smoke. So pretty quick video on how to do your overwintering of Aloysia. Job done. So pretty straightforward, but if you do have any questions, then please send them over to me. I'll always do my best to answer them for you. I will also add on to this video the link for the propagation of the Aloysia, because what you could actually do, if you wanted to, you could use some of this for some potential propagation material. It's going to root a lot slower this time of year, but if you've got the plant inside in your greenhouse and the greenhouse is heated, you've got a chance of doing some cuttings as well. So I'll include that video for you as well, or the link for you. Yeah, any questions, send them over to me. if you like what I'm doing, then please subscribe to the channel. It's always good having more people coming on board and asking different questions and building on the community. Don't forget to hit that reminder button so don't miss out on the future videos. Above all else, just have fun, enjoy yourself, and make the most of well, being in a warmer climate whilst the weather's not so nice outside. So till next time, bye for now.